Hey everyone, welcome to my best of 2023. I haven't actually done one of these since 2020, so how I do this is I basically just go back through my videos, look at the comments from timestamps that people have pointed out, look at the most replayed moments in the videos, and generally just watch the videos myself and see which clips I like. I clip up those moments, put them all into a video as for a compilation for you guys to sit back, relax, and enjoy, and hopefully have a laugh watching. I know a lot of people will have this on as background or second monitor viewing, so I've tried to keep all audio levels the exact same, so there's no disturbance there, and the video is separated into timestamps as to what game I am playing in that moment. I'm going to have a more extensive talk about the year at the end of the video if you want to stick around for that, but for those of you who are just here to see the best of, I hope you enjoy it. I really appreciate your support. I hope you have a fantastic new year and Christmas if you celebrate it. I am Connor, the most advanced android ever programmed, and I'm here to de-escalate a hostage situation. I take a look around the apartment, and I find a child's bedroom. Picking up her headphones, I'm expecting to hear Taylor Swift, but to my surprise, she was actually listening to drill.
Welcome to Brixton, I'm in the party with Barbies and drillers.
In the living room, I discover the father of the family has been RKO'd through the coffee table by their android servant. The hob was also left on, so now the pasta is definitely way past al dente, and dinner tonight is ruined. Here you've got to select the right dialogue options to save the child and the android if you can. Luckily, I have excellent negotiation skills. While I was cleaning the living room, I heard Todd making a strange noise. I thought he was smashing out a tactical one in the living room, but no, it just turns out he was smoking that red. The drawings contain imagery like her being beaten and Todd beating an android. Just because someone draws it, however, does not mean it's true. I used to draw pictures of an erect penis, but that does not mean I can get an erection. I whack Carl in his wheelchair and proceed to do a few donuts in his bedroom to pay our respects to Ken Block. We take him downstairs, serve him his favourite breakfast, and then kill some time by playing the piano. I want that jet lag from fucking and flying, shoot a child in your mouth while I'm riding. I hit him with the
My name is Connor. I'm the android sent by Cyberlife.
And then spill his drink because he was being mean to me about my plastic android arsehole. Investigating the crime scene, I find a knife that has some tasty blood on it, and a magazine announcing that android sex is officially better. And to think, Hank was insulting Connor's plastic arse earlier, but little does he know, he could be backshotting that plastic arse and having the time of his life. Back in Connor's plastic arse, it was time to interrogate the deviant android we found earlier. The key to a good interrogation is getting your victim stressed enough to talk, but not so stressed that they freak out. It's like that fine line between being kinky with your girl in bed and assaulting her. Or maybe he has fallen asleep while he put his clothes in for a 30-degree spin cycle, so we take the chance and steal them. Alice reminds us this is morally wrong, so I'm tempted to just let her freeze, but no, we do eventually steal the clothes. The game really is living up to the slogan that you can't have shit in Detroit. We slip into our new gear, and please don't question the logic that clothes from a full-grown man somehow snugly fit a small child. Back with Connor and Hank, and we're actually at the motel as we're hunting down Kara and Alice. We find out what room they're in, but when we bust in, they're already gone. Back with Kara, we try our best to hide from the police, but are eventually seen, so we have to make a break for it. As Connor, we sprint after them, and my heart is torn. Do I catch them, or do I purposefully let them get away? Well, as it would turn out, fate would just decide for me, as we attempt to cross a highway, and this happens.
Watch out, Kara! No!
Ah, Jesus Christ.
I really didn't think that would happen. I had no idea that their playthrough could end that way. We're having whiskey at the bar while watching some respectable young women dance for German soldiers while wearing limited clothing. Some could judge these women for their actions, but I mean, it's the 40s. What else was a woman supposed to do? Vote? I meet the French lad from earlier around the back of an alley expecting an over-the-trousers rim job, but no, he just wants me to take out some Germans with him. It's a shame, as French men in dark alleyways give the best rim jobs. I assume. We take a little drive to the local supply depot, and you may be wondering why everything is in black and white. Well, it's because the Germans actually put a filter on real life, so no one could see colour anymore. All of that real footage you see from World War II isn't black and white because the cameras lacked colour grading. It's because the big moustache man was trying to make us all colourblind in an attempt to end racism. His motivations during World War II were actually heavily misunderstood. So Luke sets off some dynamite to distract the guards while we zipline in using our bare hands. I hope my guy Sean carries round some Nivea moisturiser with him, because that cannot be good for his palms. Everyone's ready to head to the race, but first I take a little walk around the farm. It's got everything you'd expect, like chickens, a cute old farmhouse, and cows that explode from the inside out when you punch them a few times. Back at the hotel room, we discover the devs were indeed based, as they gave Skylar jiggle physics.
Single malt McGarren.
We then raw dog that, as before Fast and Furious come out, most race car drivers were actually heterosexual. We break in by climbing over a small fence, but Jules needs a boost.
Give me a boost.
I'm sorry, but a full-grown man needing a leg up to get over a 10-foot fence is the biggest turn-off ever. Like, bro, if you're not at least 6 foot tall, just grow up. What are you doing all the way down there? Anyway, the big German man thinks we're working with the British intelligence, and we're here to spy on him. He doesn't buy anything we're saying, and ends up killing our bestie Jules. An extremely sad time, but on the bright side, his sister will need someone to comfort her from the tragic loss of her brother, and will be right there. I'm not saying the death of your best friend is the ideal time to sleep with his sister, but it's probably the most opportune time. Escaping the facility, we hop into a truck in hopes of making our way back to France. You know your current situation isn't looking too good if you want to willingly go to France. This place is actually owned by Jules and Veronique's parents, where I meet them for the first time. I find myself thinking that Jules may have actually been lucky to die in his 30s, as he'll never age to look anything like his dad. Wow. How come back in the 40s wearing an SS uniform was seen as a clever disguise, but when I wore one to National History Day at school, I was immediately sent home and suspended? It all seems fine and dandy, but when I get back to the bunker, I couldn't have prepared myself for what I was about to see. Luke, attempting to make a move on Veronique. Just look at how quickly he stands up when I arrive. You know this man's guilty. The lit candles, the table against the wall, the fresh cotton bed sheets, and the lavender flavour condoms on the table. I know this seduction tactic all too well myself, Luke. A poor lad delivers me a handwritten message from the spicy British blonde lass from earlier, Skylar. This is basically the 40s equivalent of a girl texting you that her parents aren't home. I had no car, as I literally just crashed it into a ravine 2 minutes beforehand, but that wasn't going to stop me, as I sprinted to her house. My shoes lacking the proper sole support needed for this kind of run put my feet in terrible shape, and once again I find myself missing Jules, as he'd often rub my feet while we sniffed red wine and smoked frogs. Or whatever it is that French people do for fun. I don't know if it was the intention or just the PS1 aging this horribly, but I'm half convinced this is a horror game. Just look at Dumbledore's JPEG face as he levitates down the stairs, and I can't tell if he's about to drop some red hot life advice or take me on a trip to see his Chamber of Secrets. A surprising amount of this game is just Harry doing parkour, and it's clear to see the inspiration for the gameplay was indeed the Tomb Raider games. However, instead of playing as a hot, pixelated, square-shaped brunette, you play as a child. So definitely not as appealing as Tomb Raider, unless you're a priest of course. I try my hand at practicing flying on a broomstick, but the only thing more terrifying than my directional skills was Madam Hooch's character model. Rumour has it she smoked 1 dose of Pfizer, and in less than a week, this is what happened. Speaking of questionable character models, I then meet Hermione. At Ron's gaff, we had to do a few chores like taking out the gnomes in the shed and fighting a washing machine to take revenge for all those times your mum got stuck inside of it. We begin on a train where we have a private carriage. This is pure luxury compared to the tube, where because it's always so busy, you have to sit on your homeboy's lap and smooch with them to save space. The puzzles, collecting all the beans, the stealth segments, on-the-fly character switching, and of course, who could forget, the old Weasley touch.
Aha! The old Weasley touch does it again.
The game does, however, put its best foot forward. Why is Harry Potter dressed like Nico Bellic in this game? He's also extremely enthusiastic about beans in this game too.
Over there! Beans! How many beans have you got?
Now the AI has never been a strong part of these games, but here they are just more than useless. They are actively trying to give Harry concussion. Can you guys stop picking up rocks and dropping them on my head? Rather than using our spells to deal with the rising threat of Voldemort ending the entire world, we instead used them to do chores. It even had role-playing elements to it as well. Like here, I could just sit back and let the woman do all the cleaning. It's like my real relationship. I can terrorize the students by picking up random objects and aggressively smashing them over the head. Oh, Ron, watch out the way. I'm not sure I'd do much to Ron anyway, he's already had multiple concussions, let's be honest. Just look at how disinterested they are at learning something new. I feel like I'm showing Prince Andrew a legally aged woman. Harry has now elevated his Riz to new levels.
Ron and Hermione should be around here somewhere.
I'm just chucking all my potions off the side of the table. Which one is that? Which one is that? Is it? I don't know which one that is. Is it this one? Oh, I'm getting it all over my textbook. Yeah, I did it first time.
It's clear you've inherited your mother's talent.
Oh yeah, of course. I am then subjected to the most out of context moment I have ever had in a video game.
Shall we go to Hogsmeade?
Oh, sorry, Harry. I've arranged to go with Dean. He's not stopped moaning.
Hang on.
I told him I couldn't.
Wait a second, was that a record scratch? Did I really just hear a record scratch in a video game? The only thing worse than attending a real wedding is attending a virtual one where you can't even get drunk and sneak off into the back room with the groom and give him a wedding suit wristy as a late present. Meet Lord John, a strappingly handsome 5th year on his way to join Hogwarts. There's only 3 things you need to know about him. He's dedicated, highly intelligent, and wears his socks over his trousers for maximum sex appeal. I also met another student who's really into astrology, and I think this is the first time I've met someone who wasn't a single woman in their 30s with undiagnosed mental conditions feel this passionately about astrology. Cat. Hello, kitty. This is gameplay. This is Hogwarts Legacy. Do not think I will not pet the cat again. The cat is meowing. I will pet the cat again. Does a day get better? Well, the answer is yes. Yes, it does actually, as I find some sheep, and it was finally time for me to test out some of these new spells I just learned. I love how she's just waiting for me on the path while I'm over here casting Flipendo on a sheep while dressed in my PJs, looking like I'm on day release. She's a real one for still being friends with me after this. Anyway, I go visit the wand guy to grab myself a new wand, but they're all so big, it makes me feel like less of a man.
10.5 inches? You might do.
Come on, 10.5 inches? Everyone knows a third of that size is perfectly adequate, and if anything, is classed as big in Asian countries.
Leviosa.
Chicken! Where did it go? Oh no. That's in the river, that's gone. Oh, it's the other side of the river. I'm so sorry, chicken mate. Can you make it out? Here, hang on, let me level out Leviosa here. Oh, that's not the wrong button. I'll help you. Leviosa. Go, chicken, be free! Maybe I gotta shoo it over. There you go. Be free, chicken! Run! I've got to chat to this guy as well, and I've just gotten rid of both of his chickens, and oh, okay, never mind, they respawn. I feel more hung up to dry than this time my girlfriend parked us in a disabled parking bay, so I had to remove both of my legs, just so we could get some free parking. Honestly, shaking my head, as my legs still haven't grown back. There's another cat, there's one inside this time. Indoor cat! Bruv, cats everywhere. So, there's 2! Where are we off? What are we doing? There we go, there's 3! 3 cats! Come here! Let me stroke you too. It was time to attend my favourite class, herbology. The reason it was my favourite class had nothing to do with the herbs.
Good morning, Professor Garlick. How wonderful it is to see you again, Lenora dear.
Oh Lord, Professor Garlick's a baddie. Like a garlic these nuts.
Please welcome.
Sorry. Breaking news, local YouTuber laughs at his own D's nuts joke. We start our day in the best way possible by painting that bowl like Picasso. I then ventured outside to beat up some of the local children, which in fact wasn't as nostalgic for me, because it's hard to be nostalgic about something I did last week. I even became a goth for a little bit, but stopped when I realised you had to unironically listen to Black Veil Brides and self-harm. What do you mean, why do I have 31 erectile dysfunction pills in my inventory? I think the real question is, why don't you? And that's why today's video is sponsored by your dad's bedside cabinet. Got that special someone coming over and worried your game might have a little bit of flop to it? Don't worry, head over to your dad's bedside cabinet and look for the blue pill. If you get questioned on what you're doing, simply say, Voiy told me to. I visited the local church and made my way to the broom closet, knowing full well there would be a couple of priests waiting to molest me. Unfortunately for me, I turned up to church on the one day there was a priest in who was actually morally responsible and cock-blocked me so hard. My toughest test would come at the hands of Professor Chaos and his minions being illegally immigrated Mexicans. Turns out that rolled ankle they got while climbing over the wall wasn't the worst thing to happen to them this week. It was finally time where I could save my game and go to bed. Oh, I'm moving. Can I save now? Yes. 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 10 hours of South Park in one day is way too much South Park. Shut the fuck up, Carmen. I'm going to bed. We head to the police station as we know there's some shady business going on over there. I mean more shady business, not just the standard shooting teenagers in broad daylight kind of shady. As you can imagine, walking in there as a black kid was the scariest thing I could ever do, but luckily for me, they were equipped with tasers and not 9mm. So we fight our way through the station, making it to the holding cells where we release the French national football team to freedom. We're forced to run down the mountain where we come across a crashed plane, because a Tomb Raider game without a crashed plane in the intro is rarer than a rugby player that asks for consent. We get buried by some snow and pass out, where we have flashbacks to a much warmer, but admittedly much less safe country for Lara to be showing that much skin, as it's somewhere in the Middle East. After Lara refuses to answer, it is then revealed in a huge mind-blowing plot twist that no one ever saw coming, that Anna is working for Trinity and is Constantine's sister. Lara, furious that the woman she thinks of like a mother has betrayed her, then does this. And I can safely say I have never wanted to be Anna so badly in my entire life. In fact, the closest I came to death was nearly drowning myself here. It really amazes me that Lara can't hold her breath for longer than 20 seconds, but she could probably survive a Boeing 747 doing an emergency landing on her forehead. Sophia, the red-headed baddie, gives everyone a rallying speech to fight Trinity, while I test if chickens can fly. No! Fly! Please! Oh dear, oh no! I wanted to stay up there. The potential was here for something beautiful, but Crystal Dynamics stumbled so hard. It was a bit like when my ex said she wanted to have a threesome, so I agreed to it, but she just ended up sleeping with her coworker and FaceTiming me. It wasn't exactly how I imagined it in my head, but I still shouted encouraging words to her through the phone, because I was a supportive boyfriend. No, you cannot be fucking serious. You cannot be fucking serious. Did I not just get hit by a random meteor coming from space?
Something's in the way.
Wait, what? What did she just say? Bruce? This is the Uber Hero achievement for Wolfenstein The New Order. However, in this case, Uber doesn't mean an Indian guy who drives you home after a long night out. Feeling confident as I blew through these first combat encounters, I would quickly be humbled by none other than my own stupidity. What? No way, is that actually my first death? Was my first death from me not moving far away enough from the door? It also really reminded me of playing Siege, except it was even better than Siege because my teammates didn't call me racial slurs and say rude things about my mother when I couldn't clutch up a 1v5. We arrive at the station and hop on the train, with our only objective being blend in and not get sussed out by the Germans. I immediately proceed to sit down with the German officer and her sexually confusing right-hand man Booby. Yes, his name is actually Booby. Anyway, after a little bit of conversation, she lets us go, because apparently I'm a beautiful Aryan boy, which definitely helped boost the self-confidence. Oh, fuck. Oh, no! Okay. We load in, and this may take the record as the earliest shit hits the fan in a Tomb Raider game, as the studio's logos are getting their intro intermittently cut off by scenes of Lara and Jonah crashing a plane. Clearly the census of women drivers also translates to women flyers. Jonah is repping some anal beads around his neck, which is quite the fashion statement, but I'd appreciate it if he washed them beforehand. We go again, and as much as I can try and play off the last death, I think my reaction to this one makes it pretty clear that I wasn't expecting this. Ah, fuck! You know what they say, third time's the charm, and this time we didn't die, but a small child fell from a third-story apartment into the aggressively flowing water, so let's just say he took one for the team. Thank you, small child. We're in Peru, and Jonah has sorted a plane because this man has connections everywhere. Rumour has it the only place he can't get into is Lara's bedroom. I get that Lara is British, so guns aren't her first thought, but why did she travel to the jungle of Peru with just a bow? At least bring a tranquilizer gun loaded with roofies, because you never know, one of the orangutans might be cute. In this dream, we see some wholesome memories of Lara and her mother, and wow, it's clear to see why Lara went down the archaeologist path. She had no artistic skills whatsoever. We got what we needed to find the silver box, so we head back to the tribe to put an end to the Kuluku. How do you even say that?
Kukulkan.
We're on the planet of Coruscant, not to be confused with the French pastry croissant, because unlike the French, the people of Coruscant actually fight in the wars. It's an easy one though, thanks to the help of Bode once again. Him and Cal haven't known each other long, but I can already feel the chemistry between them. I really hope we get a hot, sensual scene with both. I really hope they go for a beer together once all this is done. He doesn't even give us directions, but I guess Cal is a Jedi, so he does come with like a built-in sat-nav. Also, can Jedis prevent splashback? Do Jedis even poop? I'm really out here asking life's biggest questions. We have to do a puzzle with some balls, and I wish Cal would manhandle my balls like this. The giant pigeon was annoying, but no, that wasn't my greatest enemy yet. It was this bloody thing. Ah. Yes! This is gonna be fun. Ah! Oh! Alright, I'm not, but nah. Yeah, bitch. Oh, okay, alright. No, you know what? I actually can't do this all day because I have a package coming soon and I need to go and listen out for it. I'm no longer just wife beater blue jeans Cal. I am wife beater blue jeans buzz cut Cal. No chance. At all. You are not touching me after this first one. You are not... After I get this stim in, you are not touching me. Woo! I defeated my greatest enemy in Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I'm back. Raymond? You're going down. I've beaten better. Grab your XP, George! Raymond! I am now a... Fuck! I'm hitless. Alright, cool. We're done! So we then head off to find a guy whose hairline is in the same place as Madeleine McCann. I chose to bring Ashley because her racially charged hatred towards the aliens could really prove useful here when fighting them. I was fighting for my life harder than a lactose intolerant person the next morning after eating ice cream. We are left with the decision to save Ashley or Caden. Obviously we choose Ashley, because Caden is literally the most boring character in the game, and although Ashley is an unhinged racist, at least she's not boring. I would, however, have to make this decision so many times. I could not stop dying, and what should have been a quick in and out, plant the bomb, save Ashley, instead led me to insanity. What do you do when a Krogan rushes you? You can't. In cover, bro. In cover. Fuck, can you go over there, please? No! Oh, now I have to fight the bloody Krogan again. Now, Warhammer lore is, extensive. Warhammer 40k is set in a distant future where a stagnant and dogmatic human civilization beset all sides by hostile aliens and supernatural creatures. But all you need to know is it's us, the alpha male space marines, against the beta orcs who are trying to take over this planet. What planet is this based on again?
Huh?
Matt, you're a Warhammer nerd. Can you voice note me back and give me your best attempt at pronouncing this planet name?
It's got to be Graia. Graia.
Do any of you guys have anusol?
No.
God, my ass is absolutely killing me. Space Marine, could you possibly stop hitting the gritty and shoot the children? We're in the middle of a war here. I'm pretty sure I have never seen a woman in the Warhammer universe before this. I thought they were canonically extinct. After the boss fight, I was hoping things could chill a little, but who am I kidding? Chilling in the Warhammer universe is canonically worse than being a child predator. On my travels, I came across a church which held a priest. I thought I'd be safe because I wasn't a 12-year-old boy, but I was highly mistaken. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, that's the first one. Here I would die a couple more times until I used the ultimate strategy of running away and politely asking if I could be left alone. Oh, hello. Hi. You alright? If you could just not turn around. Are we good? The first boss of the game was here, but luckily I have a suspicious lump on my sack. I mean, a trick up my sleeve. You can skip this entire fight by simply running around the building and breaking through the door. I, however, had never done this before, so it's fair to say it didn't exactly go smoothly on my first few attempts. Open!
Stop right there, kiddo.
Please leave me alone. Open the door, Sebastian. I'm not gonna get this time, am I? She's way too close. Open it. Oh no, she's way too close again. Sebastian, open the door!
You are a fucking piece of shit!
Woo! Next up, we have the cum room. I'm not making a crude joke. This is really what we're currently in.
You serious?
Oh, I'm actually the greatest gamer alive.
Are you sure about that?
Please don't kill me! It's a shame Sebastian is committed to his wife, because Torres is real wifey material. Just look at how she effortlessly lifts this tree. We could all use a woman like Torres who could carry us to bed like that and tuck us in for a good nap. Am I right, lads? So, we had to make it to we had to make it to Torres' bunker. We followed Myra through the lands, while fighting off Haunted that were covered in this dried coom. These guys were stiffer than my bed sheets when I was single. I headed into the last boss fight with a mutated Myra. Sebastian could have had Torres, but no, he chose to stay loyal. This is why you cheat. Anyway, welcome to the class of, fuck's sake. The greatest pirate game of all time, and what some would call the best Assassin's Creed game of all time. Unfortunately, I can't agree, due to the lack of historical accuracy, like the pirates being straight. In the male-dominated world of piracy, homosexuality was very common. Who knew that those eye patches pirates wore were actually used as eye protection for all the semen they took to the face? We play as Edward Kenway, who is Welsh, so he prefers the company of sheep over both men and women. So we set sail into the open waters, where your mum even pops by for a brief appearance. It's always nice to see her. Just as I'm having a great time, we get pulled out into everyone's favourite part of Assassin's Creed, the modern day. Oh, for fuck's sake. Everyone here is speaking a mixture of French and English, so I assume we must be at Ubisoft's headquarters, but no one is grabbing my arse or sexually degrading me, so it can't be. There's colourful beanbags to show this is a light-hearted working environment, but there is also a dead guy underneath my desk. Due to the water, Steed's sugar is now ruined, but my boy doesn't seem to be too upset, as he's practicing black magic at the ship. Leave a like if you also practice black magic in your spare time, or white magic, we're inclusive over here. So on the ship to Sevilla, I made a new friend who helps me break out of these cuffs. It was at this moment I realised I completely misunderstood the story of Black Flag the first time around. I thought it was a pirate adventure, but it's really a biracial pirate love story. Just look at the way we choke out Spanish men in tandem. I can't wait for him to choke me out like that later. Out of the storm, and me and the boys set sail, with the mindset of everyone being equal on this boat, apart from Adewale because he's not white. I make my way further into the island, where I pickpocket this woman, but she only has 4 reals on her. Jesus Christ, she's poor. I almost want to put the money back in her pocket, take her out for lunch and pay her rent for a month. We hit the seas again, and the water is a more beautiful blue than the chloroform rag I used to knock out women. I don't do anything weird with them, don't worry. I just steal their debit cards, so I can deposit money into their accounts to make up for the wage gap. Our first class was chemistry, where we learned to make firecrackers. Chemistry was always a laugh in school, because you got to use the Bunsen burners, and tell the autistic kid that the blue flame meant it was safe to put his hand on it. I would, however, get to touch boys in gym class because because today we had wrestling, which is arguably gayer than kissing another guy. I keep walking too fast for the game though and leaving her behind, which is actually what I do to my girlfriend in real life if I forget to walk at her speed. No, she's not a paraplegic, she's just 5'3", so yeah, actually she's basically disabled. Because it's Halloween night, we decided to execute some classic pranks, like putting a kick me sign on someone's back, egging students, stink bombing students, and setting off fireworks on school property. Pranks used to be silly little fun back in the day, but got ruined by YouTubers in the 2010s. Roman Atwood would regularly traumatise his wife with such pranks as blowing up my own kid because it was good content. We grab her what she needed from the market, but also she wants a straight razor, which seems like a brave way to shave your bush. I much prefer just asking my barber to pop down there while I'm getting a haircut, because he's chill like that. That same evening, I take a girl out for a carnival date and proceed to destroy her at every game we play. There's nothing women like more than an overly competitive man who takes even light-hearted fun carnival games as serious as a World Cup final. If you're not slide cancelling and jump shotting while beating her ass at the shootout, then she's going to be drier than the Sahara Desert. At the end of it all, I buy her a teddy bear with all my tickets, which is the smart play. Never get her a gift at the start. About 5 years ago, I was at a theme park with a few mates, and I saw a 3-foot German Shepherd plushie. Being the great boyfriend I am, I thought I might try and win it for my girlfriend, but I had to make 5 pretty difficult shots with a basketball, so I didn't think I'd actually win it. Little did I know, I must be 1/6 black because I made them all, winning the German Shepherd. Unfortunately, it was right at the start, and I had to carry the big fella around with me for the entire day and drop him off at stations before we went on rides. It was quite awkward. Moral of the story is, Don't do nice things for your girlfriend. Anyway, I get back to old mate who's being pinned down by his own arsehole, but I proceeded to have an absolute mare. I forgot what the aim button was, so I was just free aiming this TP, and I couldn't get it in the stall. The button to pick up the TP was also the same button you could use to go for a leak, so I also just kept making Jimmy piss. It honestly became impressive he actually had anything left in the tank after the third time. I failed the event because the TP got stuck next to the bowl, and I couldn't pick it up, and old matey either had to face reality and just stand up, or use one of his socks. We've all been there. I took my aggression out on someone's gnome they had in the front garden, because you can't have shit in Detroit, or in this small town apparently. This reminds me of my old house. I mean, it wasn't even in a dodgy area or anything, but people would just always steal anything you had out front. We had a hedgehog decoration that got stolen, and then someone stole our doormat. A fucking doormat. What are you gonna do with that? Show yourself a whole new world? Now finally let out into the world with free will and a couple of weapons, it takes about 6 seconds before I start committing murder on the suffering residents of Brightwall. However, in Fable 3, rather than being sent to prison for your crimes, you instead just have to bake a few pies. Yes, you may have just killed a loving mother of 4, but if you can bake a light, flaky pie crust, all will be forgiven. Better yet, if you keep slapping out pie crusts, you can actually make money. So technically, yes, you can make money from murder in Fable 3, which easily makes this the top 5 games of all time. So I wanted to settle here. I needed a wife. I do what anyone should when seeking out a life partner. Head over to the boozer and wife up the first woman I set eyes on. Well, it wasn't actually that simple. First I had to make her like me by dancing with her, and then delivering packages for her. I had to repeat this a few times, dancing with her and delivering her packages whenever she asked, and finally, we become friends. I could now begin the process of making her fall in love with me by playing patty cake and not missing a beat. This man's riz is unstoppable. I could also tickle her, you know, like friends do, or maybe a handsy cousin who forgets your mums or sisters. After all this, we could finally go out on our first date, where I held her hand all the way to a scenic lake. Now we could get married, and I thought what better spot than the boozer where we first met just 2 minutes ago, but I forgot a huge part of proposing. A ring. However, as if by some divine intervention, I was on a quest with Walter when I decided to go off in a random direction. I found a chest, and inside the chest was none other than a wedding ring. It was destiny. It was meant to be, and as soon as I got back, I proposed. We had a beautiful wedding on the bridge. We needed a house to move into together, so I evicted some of my tenants and threw them onto the street, so we had a family home. Maybe it was even time for us to start a family of our own. Except, just kidding, I killed her and then put the house up for extortionate rent. Anyway, I look around, trying to decipher where exactly I am, and I come to the only logical conclusion. This is Detroit. I rip it open, but we don't even catch her on the way down, so she just smashes her face into the ground. She also has a mind flare parasite in her head, but forget that, she may have a concussion after that fall. Anyway, she says thanks for letting her out, and then instantly gets a little heated with Lae'zel because of her race. Good on her for leaving me alone though. Clearly she doesn't see colour. I come across another person in a pod, and just when I think this party is going to grow to 5, I pull a lever expecting to free her. It turns her into a mind flayer. I'd still hit it though. I wake up on a beach, feeling like a refugee, and the ship is in pieces all over the place. I turn around to go in the water, as we need a fresh wash after all we just went through. But Road Mannington won't go any deeper than knee height. I guess he can't swim, because he's black. Boxer shorts that he's wearing would realistically restrict movement. Because of the parasite in my head, it begins to seduce me, and I feel an overwhelming attraction to his slimy purple head. Literally his head, not his other head. You dirty little dogs. It wants me to lean in for a kiss, but I try to resist it. All I have to do is roll a 5 or higher, where I even have a +1 bonus, so surely this can't go wrong. I roll a 3. We lean in for a passionate kiss, and get hit with a game over screen. The head was literally so good, it killed me. On our nice walk through the lands, we stumble across a lad, and a smaller lad, having a heated debate when the small one starts getting a little mouthy towards our group. Those are some big words for a man who can't reach the kitchen cupboard without climbing on the counter. Back in the underground, I once again drop a tactical masterclass. You see, I unlock a secret room, and then lead us to a place that's completely full of traps. I then proceed to get every single party member killed by a trap. Genius. Once we finished off the mummies, I found myself opening up a tomb, and out popped old matey, just casually levitating. I'm not gonna lie, my bro's tomb absolutely stank. I mean, there was hundreds of years of farts built up in there, so I don't exactly blame him, but it doesn't take long to spray some cotton air freshener around the gaff if you're gonna be having guests around. He's not evil, even though I just slaughtered his entire family outside the room. He simply just wants to ask me a couple of serious questions. I think the only serious question that needs to be asked though is, where is my man's skin routine? Someone get my boy some Nivea. Those wrinkles aren't gonna solve themselves. I take a look around the place, where I come across the Grove's pet squirrel, It bites me, so I act accordingly and proceed to boot the little bastard top bins like Steven Gerrard against Olympiacos in 2004. So Will tells us about how he's been keeping sane by training these kids how to fight, and it's super wholesome. He really does seem like he has a connection with these kids. I then proceed to kill one of the kids. Free to roam the village, I go around picking up every piece of loot I can possibly find until I hear some weird noises coming from a barn. Whatever it is, it sounds large, so I prepare myself for a battle as we bust in, only to see an ogre giving another ogre devious backshots. Jesus Christ, I said where is Amy Schumer, and what do you know, here she is. Thank the Lord. So I laugh at how small the ogre's manhood is, which makes him sensitive and insecure, so he runs home to have a cry. There's also a mangled corpse in here, so I don't know if they were getting off on this, but hey, whatever you gotta do to get it up, I don't judge. I once had a girl say she wanted to get kinky with me, but neither of us had any equipment, so we had to improvise. There we were rummaging about the gaff for things to use when I come across a pair of Nintendo Wii controller safety straps. It felt a bit disgusting, given I was playing Wii Sports with her nan about 2 hours before this, but it surprisingly worked pretty well. Right, so we finally get to the Goblino Campo. I've been working on my Spanish. My immersion was immediately ruined, because anyone who has been around anyone that's passed out from drinking too much literally wouldn't wake up in a war zone. Me and my mates would always play pranks on the one guy who took it too far and would never wake up the next morning. We'd draw on his face, balance household items on his head, dip his hands in water so he wet himself, and put our sacks in his mouth and get colour turned on from it. Just the normal teenage guy stuff. Our adventure starts, as many good days do, blasting miners between the cheeks. So I land on another planet to take out the Crimson Fleet presents so I can fly my ship in peace. What I find inside their outpost will sicken even the toughest of you watching this video. Dirty dishes in the sink. Once again, the year is 2330. We have space travel, but somehow haven't figured out a more efficient way to wash the dishes outside of hiring Mexican mothers. So I pop mine into their collection and they all start floating. It's really cool, but do you know what's even cooler? I get my own room in the lodge with a double bed. I begin decorating the place, putting all the random objects I've gathered around the room. I pop 2 rolls of toilet paper on the bedside table for if I need to blow my nose. I then spend the next while going into everyone else's room and stealing their furniture to make my room look even better. I get a wooden duck, lamp planter, and a box of tissues for the nightstand, as it looks classier than just having some bog roll. Apparently there's consequences for my actions though, as in the middle of my chat with the bartender, I get taken away to some sort of prison. After a brief wait, I find myself speaking to a koi from the MCU.
I'm a bunny, you're a bunny, he's a bunny, ha!
Jesus Christ, my ears are bleeding. Michael Jackson sang ABC 123 at the age of 11. Do better, and dress better. Your outfit looks like a gender reveal. I then kill their mother for raising such a disappointing child. I have the info needed about the artifact, but I first decide to visit Earth, just to make sure of one thing. It is indeed true. America is gone. Thank God. When I arrive, I run into a bit of trouble, battling my own IQ, as I cannot figure out for the life of me how to dock at the station. What is happening? Dock the ship, what are you doing? I thought simply approaching it would dock me automatically, but clearly I was very wrong. Dock the ship, bruv. What are you doing? Damn, I never thought docking with my boy for the first time would be easier than docking in a video game, but here we are. It turns out Sam's dad is actually a huge dick, so we won't get these maps off him easily. While Sam is chatting to him, I proceed to sneak around his dad's house and cause silent havoc. I steal his beer, take his onions out the fridge, put his clear pan back in the sink so he has to wash it again. I then go to his toilet and steal all of his toilet paper, so next time he goes to wipe, he'll be stranded. There I am grav jumping from system to system when I get a call from a local city asking for assistance. I land at Paradiso, a place for rich people to escape and do some rich people shenanigans, like going balls deep in a miner. The police chief asks me to investigate a ship that's been in their orbit for a while now, but they've had no luck communicating with it. Up I go, expecting it to maybe be aliens, or just a load of dead people with a mystery left behind, but to my surprise, they're all very much alive human beings. It's actually an Earth colony ship that began making its way over here 200 years ago. The ship has had generations of people on it, some giving birth on the ship itself to keep it sustained, and going for years to come. A real, remarkable achievement from mankind. But because the ship is 200 years old, they got beat out by newer technology, so they're actually very far behind. They want to land on Paradiso, but can't communicate due to their out-of-date tech. So I go back down to Paradiso and chat with Oliver, the owner of the entire place. He tells me they're welcome down here, but they'd have to work for their place, or I can supply them with enough stuff for them to move on to another planet. So here I am, prepared to tell them it's slave labor, or they give up on this 200-year-old dream, which hundreds of people sacrificed their life for. However, That's when I noticed something that says, optional, overload the reactor. Now look, George of a couple years ago would have chosen the overload option, obviously. But throughout the entire video, you've seen me. I've been changing my ways. I've been doing good deeds. I've been trying to be better. I've been a good boy. So I chat to the ship's leader and tell her her options. As it turns out, she's actually pretty cool with her and her crew having to work for their place at Paradiso. They just want to fulfill the dreams of their ancestors, that space travel is true, and they can achieve anything they want. This whole ship, this whole story, it's so inspiring. Even though they got beat out, they set off from Earth 200 years ago. It's incredible that they've made it this far and sustained themselves for all this time. At the time that they set off from Earth, no one had ever landed this far out before. So here they are, about to make what once seemed like an impossible dream become a reality. I undock to head back to Paradiso, but what would you know? The entire ship blows up. How sad. I guess that old technology must have failed them right at the end. I have no idea how else something like this would happen.
So, get away, another way, feel like you didn't want yourself to know, and let yourself go.
There I am politely waiting like the good white man I am, when suddenly I am rear-ended. Yo! What the fuck? Yo! It's 2077, the cars practically drive themselves, but here are women, still crashing into parked cars. Lizzie! No, hang up, it's just about to drop.
Same spot as last time.
Lizzie, you're gonna ruin the drop, hang up! I'm terrible in high pressure situations, I guess. Like when my ex told me her mum had cancer, and I replied with, no way, I was also born in June. So after all that, we make our way through the underground metro system, and eventually to an apartment that looks even too run down for a crackhead to sleep in. Just look at the stats on this mattress. Active infestation, harmful pathogens, high risk of infection, ridden with insects, and worst of all, low quality material. It's all well and good waking up with hepatitis C, but waking up with a bad back will ruin the rest of your day. You cannot tell me this is a child.
My name is Gabby. I'm 12 years old, and I'm pregnant as fuck.
So what do you wanna do? What's your point of view? There's no point. Screw, do you wanna go?
While out cruising on my bike, I see a young man whose car is broken down. I pull over to help, as I can see his mechanic is a woman. I check under the hood for any problems, and then take it for a quick test drive to make sure the car is working properly again. By test drive, I mean, I take his car and never return it. I eventually get a call from Reed asking me to meet him in a bar called The Moth. I hope it's well lit. Oh my god, that's great. That's the best joke and worst joke I've ever written in my life. But before doing anything here, I'd like to introduce a new segment on the channel called Public Restroom Inspector, where I grade video game restrooms. Here we have a standard 2-stall, 3-sink situation. There's graffiti everywhere, and shit all over the floor, but a robot is actively cleaning it up. Both stalls are the same, but the second one has an open bottle of pills and a milk carton in it. That's gonna score some bonus points. The mirrors are non-reflective, which is a shame, but the cheeky flamingo in the corner is a nice touch. Overall, I'll give this a 5.5 out of 10. No, that's actually quite harsh. I'll give this a 6.5 out of 10. As I'm cruising through the night on the rain in my motorbike, feeling like I'm in a movie, I pass a man being abused by a gang member. You guys know me, I'm partial to a little bit of oppression here and there. It's all fun and games. But bullying is just straight up uncalled for. So I pull over to help the man out. Unfortunately, my interference actually ends with him getting shot and folded like fresh laundry. So he probably would have been better off if I actually did nothing. Me and Reed roll up on Voodoo Boy's territory to chat to this top-notch netrunner. I think we were supposed to use negotiation skills to get in here and see him, but I just walk in and begin shooting everyone. I'm sure that'll make the netrunner really happy and delighted to see us and work with us, as I just killed all of his friends and family. So with more Haitian victims under my belt than the 2010 earthquake, we find old mate Slider, who hooks up to us. Peter is rocking the fattest wagon you're likely to see all year. Forget saving New York. These cheeks could cure worldwide depression. As we get closer to the threat, sand is everywhere, so I think it's pretty obvious to tell that we're going to be fighting Green Goblin. Sandman is a big lad, and the worst kind of enemy type to face on a Monday morning because you'll have sand in your gooch for the rest of the week. Oh, that's sick. Woo, look at the back. Sorry, I don't know why I'm so obsessed with looking at Peter's ass. Oh. Oh. Oh, cross tiles. I see the black one. Oh my god.
Well, look who's in the neighborhood.
2 enemies with throwables. Can do. Oh, hey Miles. What's going on? There's 2 bros chilling in the same crime. 5 feet apart because they're not gay. Get him, Miles. Yeah, get him, Miles. You can do the point. Being 16 is such a weird age. You go through so many changes, both body and mind. Suddenly, the local priest isn't interested in you anymore, and you're approaching that last part of your school life. Truly a tough time. Flashback to being kids, where at the end of this night, he reveals that something awful has happened to Harry's mother. Yes, that's right. She started playing Valorant. We also help out one of the students who wanted to ask his boy to homecoming. We help him set the whole thing up and guide his boy all the way to the courtyard for a big finish where he drops the question. His boy says yes and agrees to go to homecoming with him. A real wholesome moment. Nothing truly makes me more happier than gay teenage interracial love. So we heard a rumour that Black Cat was back, which Miles confirms by tracking her down using the smell of her feet. I've never wanted to be Spider-Man so bad. When we find her, she's teleporting about the place using portals. We chase her through New York, swinging portaling around the place, which was just an excuse for Insomniac to reuse the tech from Ratchet & Clank: A Rift Apart. But I'm here for it. This was sick. She even teleports us to the Antarctic briefly, which was really irresponsible. Imagine I wasn't wearing this puffer jacket. I could have caught a chill. When we finally give her some catnip and get her to chill out, we receive the most heartbreaking news I've heard all year. Top tier muff.
My girlfriend's in Paris.
Girlfriend? No.
I'm into trouble with some guys.
So over. There's not much time to be caught up in our feelings though, as Craven's cock gobblers roll up, ready to steal Black Cat. I was fighting for my life. Not literally for my life, but for her, as Craven was really handsome, and if she ever saw him, this would all officially be over for us. Miles even gains some confidence and gets the message here, and begins dropping some sea lion riz on Black Cat.
Did you know sea lions can swim up to 25 miles per hour?
Let's go, Miles. Riz. Impeccable riz from Miles. So after fighting Craven's men for a little while, we eventually stop them, and then have to break our own heart once again, and help Black Cat go all the way back to Paris to her girlfriend. Suddenly 2 police officers go sprinting around the corner, so naturally, we follow. When we turn the corner, we notice both of them have their hands on their guns, fingers itching to pull the trigger for any reason, and that's when it happens. In broad daylight, the officers begin discharging their firearms into a crowd of innocent people. A young man takes a few to the chest, fatally killing him, and what do you know? He's obviously a minority. I'm so sick of this police brutality. I need to stand up for the black friends that I don't have. I quickly stop to chat to a guy about Warhammer and how tired he must be from all the sex he gets from various women. But just as I'm about to leave, I see that he puts butter in his coffee. What the fuck?
Here to report a crime, an international war crime.
I take the appropriate next steps and call a gang hit on him. Unfortunately, it would appear I ordered the most dysfunctional gang in all of San Francisco, as they managed to shoot pretty much everyone apart from the target. I wasn't just going to let them get away with committing this war crime, so it was time to get my hands dirty. By getting my hands dirty, I of course mean picking him up on a forklift and taking him for a ride to a restricted police area so he gets arrested for trespassing. Voiy 1, terrorism 0. Wrench was enjoying some drinks because he's a sesh gremlin, Sitara was on the karaoke because of her beautiful singing voice, and Josh was on his laptop because of the autism. I also grab a coffee to feel a big day ahead, but it's San Francisco where you can't just grab a regular coffee. So I ordered a whipped, shaken and stirred, brown sugar, pumpkin iced, loo roll laced with a double shot of Buster Nut. Marcus then runs outside and hits a tasty little front flip because the caffeine has got him dizzy. I find the room I need to be in and start downloading the data, but more and more FBI guards are getting sus. Eventually I decide I'll have to start using my taser gun, but little did I know, I didn't have the taser gun equipped, I had a Mach 11. Whoopsie daisy. Suddenly I've gone from quirky little hacker man who only beats women that won't move out of his way, to full-blown murderer as I'm now in a shootout with the FBI. This has got to be pretty embarrassing for all those trained professionals with ARs, as they're losing a 10v1 against a skinny nerd with a Mach 11. So for some reason I actually found this mission really challenging. I mean, it definitely wasn't hard, so I have no idea what was going on here, I just kept dying over and over again. I think I was trying to run and gun to get it over and done with, but like my girlfriend always tells me, George, please stop celebrating when you finish first. This isn't a race. That's just what she says to make herself feel better, because she's never won the race. The game also spawned me on this roof where I had no idea how to get down, so I figured I'll make a quick jump into the sea. I leap off the roof and unfortunately miss my target, only coming up about 582 feet short. I don't actually think Watch Dogs 2's NPC system has ever been topped by another game since it released back in 2016. Sometimes I boot up the game just to literally walk around and see what the NPCs do with their day-to-day lives. Wow, that sounded a lot more sad when I said it out loud. Anyway, all that murder has got me feeling a little parched, so I hit the coffee shop. It would appear that San Fran isn't as progressive as everyone makes it out to be though, as when I purchase a coffee, everyone runs out the cafe. SMH, a black man should be able to buy coffee just like the rest of us, you bloody bigots. I danced with some scantily clad lads, but I think Marcus's moves scared them off a little bit, as he looked like he'd just shelved 16 pills. I'm heading over to the motorcycle club, but on my way there I spot a car on the drive that I want to steal, but I also notice that the owner of said car is on her porch. torch. When I go over to profile her, it says her family is missing on a plane. That's some pretty depressing stuff. But on the bright side, if the plane ever does turn up and needs to perform an emergency landing, there will be no problem establishing an airport on her wagon. The story of this awful game begins waking up from a coma as Rick Grimace Shake, because this man is not Rick Grimes. We make our way to Atlanta, where Rick gets stuck in a tank like it was a stepmother, and is saved by none other than Obviously, Carl, the useless child, is missing, but that means I finally get to roleplay what I've always wanted to my entire life. Carl! 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 There he is. We enter the school equipped with a pistol to light up those walkers. Now, of course, there is an easy joke to be made here about discharging your pistol inside an American high school, but you guys should know by now that I wouldn't scrape the bottom of the barrel with such humour. Everyone knows school shootings in America don't actually take place with a pistol. Shane would need to have an AR equipped for it to even be a realistic joke. As we escape the school, Beth trips over with the medical supplies, and I'm left with another defining choice. Now, if you watch the show, you'll know that Shane made a not-so-based decision.
Betrayal.
My Shane is different though. This man cares. This man makes the morally correct choices. He's not in it for himself. He's here to save people, even if that means sacrificing himself. Carl has left the group. Are they smart enough to follow me out here? Not really. Just keep looking.
Nope. Damn it.
Damn it! Got you, Voiy, don't worry. Oh my god, what is this? His torso is contorted. Hey, 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 hey. Break the AI in this game by just walking too close to them. My boy rolled up in a tank because I guess they're just regularly available in Apocalypse, and I have to make a quick choice about who lives between Glenn and Michonne. Killing Glenn now would save him from a home run later on in life, but I couldn't do that to my... The war was on, and we had to take out that tank. How do you do that? Just keep shooting AR bullets at it, and watch his health go down.
This is fucked. Need to destroy that tank.
Why does Daryl sound like C-3PO? C-3PO Daryl then rolls a grenade down the barrel of the tank. Wow, that rhymes. Nice one, George. The Gov somehow just absolutely tanks it. Get it? Because it's in a tank. As we finish things up with a teaser for Terminus. I don't know if this is supposed to be a sequel teaser or what they were doing here. They thought they did something, but after playing this, I can safely say, I don't think we'll ever get a Walking Dead Destinies 2. So when I said a more extensive talk, I wasn't meaning this is going to be very long or anything. I just wanted to summarize 2023 and talk about my plans going into 2024 for anyone that's interested. I was going to say 2023 has been my hardest year on YouTube, but I don't think it has been. I think it's just been the weirdest year. I had an insane February, March, and April. They all broke each other in terms of record for my channel. February is my best month ever. March was my best month ever. And then April was my best month ever. It was a crazy, crazy time. And then after that, things dropped off tremendously, like harder than they ever have before. Like I'm used to the up and downs of YouTube. It's just the life of being a YouTuber. You just have to face the reality of some videos will do well, some videos won't, some months your channel will do well, and some months it won't. It's just the way it is. But I've never had a drop off quite this sudden and this sort of dramatic as well. I went from incredible months to some of the worst months that I've had in terms of views and things like that since sort of 2020. I just really struggled to sort of find my flow after that first initial half of the year. I really, really struggled this back half of the year to sort of get into a flow, to get video ideas going on topics that I thought were interesting or people would be interested in or could reach outside my audience. And that's when I just got to remember that I'm grateful for my core community and you people that are here that watch every single video, but it's also on me to create better ideas and do things that will reach outside of my comfort zone and will reach outside of my core audience. I just really struggled to sort of capture that this year, 2020, 2021, 2022. I think I did quite well at that. I think I did quite well sticking to what my core audience liked, doing videos for myself, but then also doing videos for people that weren't myself and people that weren't my core audience. That's what brings in the bigger views on YouTube. That's what brings in the new people. And I've really struggled with that this year. I just could not get a grasp of it. I could not find something that was working for me. So with 2024 laying ahead, I have big plans, big positive plans. I mean, I say big plans, God, every YouTuber says I've got big plans for the New Year's, guy. It's just, I feel like it's just because every year I've had on YouTube has been a better year than the last. 2020 was better than 2019, 2021 was better than 2020, and so on. Every year has been better. And this was the first year where it's like 2023 wasn't better than 2022 in terms of YouTube. So I think I just struggled with that because every year since I've done YouTube has been a step forward. This one felt like a stagnation and a slight step back. But I'm going to be working my arse off to make sure that 2024 is a better one and to make sure that people are more engaged and stuff like that. I feel like it's also, I didn't do well with my community. I didn't do well with managing things like that. I'm not very active in Discord. I'm not very active on community posts. Just generally just planning on trying some new things. I feel like I definitely stagnated and got stuck because I was just doing the same old thing. And even when I felt like I was doing something new, it wasn't really new. It was just sort of a slightly different game to what I would play before, and that's not new. Go from the idea process to getting it on YouTube. It's a long old process. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, and we'll see what kind of new videos we can bring out in 2024. Thank you all though for a 2023 that I will not forget. They had some fantastic moments in them. Despite me being fairly down at this end part, I didn't want it to be taken away as that it was a downer year. It was not. It was still a fantastic year in so many ways. And you guys that watch my videos just make it special. You guys that continue to leave comments and support me just mean the world to me. It's what gets me up every morning, it's what keeps me going, it's what keeps that fire burning, it's what keeps that passion alive. Just making videos for people. It's seeing comments like, you know, you make me happy, or this video made me laugh, or this video made me forget about what was going on in my life for 10 minutes. That's all I want to do. If I can distract you from the bullshit of the world, I've always said it, if I can distract you from the bullshit that's going on in your life, I've done my job. And it genuinely does make me extremely happy. So I will not stop doing this. We'll keep going. 2024, bigger things, brighter things, better inspirational quotes. I don't know. Thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate you all. Thank you. And I will see you all in the new year. Love you all. Bye-bye.